George Mason. The Flyers and the Patriots play 2 on Saturday, with the first game of the doubleheader starting at noon. Dayton and George Mason finished the series on Sunday at 12. All games at Dayton Softball Stadium are free and open to the public. Be a part of the action this weekend and cheer on Flyers softball. For more information, visit DaytonFlyers.com and follow us on social media at Dayton Flyers.
Hot dogs, get your hot dog. $1. Enjoy an American classic this Friday for Dollar Dog Day when Dayton takes on Richmond and Warner Field at AES Ohio Stadium. All hot dogs are just $1. Start your weekend with the Flyers and the Spiders. First pitch at 3 on Friday. The game, free and open to the public. Cheer on the Flyboys and see how many dollar dogs you can eat. For more information, visit DaytonFlyers.com. Follow us on social media at Dayton Flyers. Hanging out in the rain, Alex Mike is with you on a Tuesday night as the Dayton Flyers and the Wright State Raiders get together at Day Air Ballpark in the Water Street District in downtown Dayton. But Mother Nature has some other thoughts as we are currently under a lightning delay. And I am joined here tonight by Kyler Ludlow. And what is maybe the thought of this game being played later tonight, Kyler?
Well, obviously, we would love to do it. We will wait and see. With this being a neutral site game, it's a little bit different than if we were playing this at AES Ohio Stadium, Warner Field, or over at Nishwitz Stadium, where the teams themselves are in charge of things. But with our partnership with the Dayton Dragons, we can want to play as long as the day is long, but we are kind of dependent on what the Dragons are willing to do for us. Obviously, they want to have us play too. They know there's a great crowd already filed through and wanting to see a baseball game. But like you said, Mother Nature's got other plans right now. They're keeping a pretty watchful eye on the radar and what's going through. And I think we're out of the heaviest of the rain that was going to be coming through in this little cell. And there is a bit of a window that they could potentially play, but they're not going to take the tarp off the field till it stops raining, even though the lightning's kind of gone from the area, which is great. But until that rain's gone, they're not going to pull the tarp. So every lightning strike means a half an hour. We had our last lightning strike about 6 minutes ago. So unless a new one comes through, knock on wood, we're looking at best case scenario, able to actually be allowed out on the field about 7:30. So no official update yet as of that. That's just kind of the way the Cards have played this year. Unfortunately, after such a beautiful day yesterday, that would have been great for a ball game. And last year, trying to play Eastern Kentucky here on a Tuesday night, it was very similar. The weather just rolled through and kind of wiped out all those fun plans. But right now, we're kind of waiting on a new update from the Dragons. But that lightning strike that came through about 5-10 minutes ago now is going to keep us off the field for at least 30 minutes. So.
Time will tell. 69 degrees here downtown as Wright State 27-15 having an amazing year in the Horizon League up top the conference, 18-3 in league play. The Flyers 23-23, 11-10 in the Atlantic 10 and fighting for a championship berth as 7 teams will get in. And a couple of big weekends still ahead and a big non-conference matchup here this evening. But looking at our radar and discussing the weather, green is on the screen, which means rain continuing to fall. And like Kyler alluded to, we are about 5 minutes out from our last lightning strike, and that is a 30-minute game. So what we do know is we are not going to be playing baseball anytime soon, but we're hoping to still play baseball here tonight. In the meantime, well, Flyers Weekly. We'll check out a historic moment on the golf course. Track and field had another nice weekend, and softball is making quite the run. But again, here in talking about baseball for a Tuesday night, we are currently under a lightning delay from Day Air Ballpark downtown, the home of the Dayton Dragons. Congratulations to Ben Coors, who last week made history and won the Atlantic 10 Men's Golf Championship. The senior shot 11 under par over 3 rounds and won by 5 strokes to lead the team to a third-place finish. Coors is just the third flyer ever to win individual medalists at the A10 Championships, and the first since Henry May in 2021. Best of luck to Ben, who will now compete in the NCAA Regionals set for May 12th to the 14th. Dayton softball picked up their 5th straight win and took all 3 over the weekend to sweep St. Joseph's. UD's win streak started on Wednesday with a doubleheader over Akron. Izzy Kemp and Cameron Linneman combined for a 1-0 shutout in Game 1, with Linneman also recording the only RBI and her first ever career double. Maddie Capsamalis was the star for Game 2 with a home run and 3 RBIs to propel Dayton to a 9-7 victory. Flyers kept it rolling in Philadelphia with a 9-1 win on Saturday, thanks to 10 strikeout complete game performance from Izzy Kemp. UD won the doubleheader Sunday 7-6 and 13-5. Kemp this week was named Pitcher of the Week in the conference. Dayton is now 27-16 on the year and fighting for first in league play at 15-5. The Flyboys got back in the win column on Tuesday with a 7-6 victory over EKU. Dayton dominated St. Joe's on Friday in Philadelphia with a 29-1 win over the Hawks thanks to a 16-run 5th inning. UD lost Game 2 of the doubleheader in the bottom of the 9th, 6-5. There was another walk-off defeat Sunday, with Dayton falling 4-3. UD is 23-23 on the year, currently a 3-way tie for 6th in the conference. The men's tennis season came to an end on Saturday in the Atlantic 10 Championship final to VCU. It was a historic year for the Flyers, who ended the season 22-4. Women's track and field saw 3 third-place finishers at the Jim Freeman Clark Wood Invitational, hosted by the University of Louisville. Daniela Peralta threw a season best in the javelin at 41.87. Marissa Pritchett ran 17:35.69 and picked up her 4th top 3 finish during this year's outdoor season. Jaden Haywood had the best 100 and 200-meter times in the conference for the week. The junior finished 3rd in the 100-meter dash. This week, we stay on the track with Haywood. The Dayton native and former Chaminade Julienne standout has been named Track Performer of the Week 4 times this season by the Atlantic 10. She shares her favorite thing about track and how other sports in high school helped her with her speed.
Soccer was my number one, but like winning state my freshman year, in the 4x1, that kind of just gave me some more confidence to really continue track. So.
You mentioned your passion for soccer and enjoying that growing up, and then also like excelling and playing in high school amongst soccer and basketball. From those other sports, have those helped you at all in being out on the track?
I would definitely say so. It definitely kept me fit. So I was in shape all year. So I would definitely say it did help me.
What's your favorite thing about track?
Ooh, I would definitely say just the people that you meet. They really, I know my teammates are very supportive. So I would say the people that you meet, and then also just that feeling of like when you PR, that feeling is just, it's a very good feeling. So yeah.
You mentioned PR, and you've been able to get that feeling quite a few times throughout your career here at Dayton, and so many medals within the Atlantic 10, and this year especially quite a few school records. I come from a background of basketball and golf, to where like you kind of know when you're going to make a shot, or you hit something and you say like that's going to be the result. In action, when you get out of the blocks and you're looking at that finish line, do you have a feeling of like this is going to be really fast?
Honestly, I try not to think about PRing like before I run. I kind of just like to have a clear mind. But once that like gun hits, you just gotta go. And I feel like sometimes I can like tell. Usually I'm not tired afterwards. That's when I can tell if I PR'd or not, which is very weird. But yeah, I'll definitely say that. So.
Amongst track, I find it so interesting because you have 2 seasons, and you got the indoor and you got the outdoor. And obviously, in some regards, for what you do, like that distance changed of like a 60 to 100.
Yeah.
But are there other big differences that folks might not consider in the 2 seasons of running indoor compared to running outdoor?
Yeah, I would definitely say there's a lot of differences. A few of them would be the fact that the track is different. So in indoor, the track is smaller than what would be outdoor. And then also, like for the 200, it's a whole lap around. But for outdoor, it's just like that half lap. And then also the weather as well. The weather definitely plays a factor into outdoors. So.
Well, one thing I've learned in sort of following you with track is in the outdoor season, wind.
Yeah.
and because there's times even this year to where you've picked up records and then they might not count towards that PR.
Right.
Is it easier or harder? And I guess that kind of just depends on where the wind's blowing.
Yeah. I'd say if it's like a headwind, that definitely is difficult. But a tailwind, it can be frustrating because you can run fast and then like it doesn't count. So like it's nice to have a tailwind, but at the same time you don't want too much wind.
Yeah, because that's going to hit your mark.
Yeah.
And we're all about those records.
Yeah.
This entire interview will be released on Thursday at noon on Spotify, Apple Music, and our YouTube channel at Dayton Flyers. The week starts tonight with the Flyboys taking on Wright State at Day Air Ballpark. 7 o'clock first pitch downtown in the Water Street District. It's Dollar Dog Day on Friday at Warner Field and AES Ohio Stadium. At 3 o'clock, the Flyers will take on Richmond to open up their series. Spiders and Flyers Game 2 will be Saturday at 1. They wrap up the series Sunday at noon. Dayton softball ends the regular season at home this weekend against George Mason. On Saturday, the Flyers and the Patriots play 2, with the first game starting at noon. The regular season ends Sunday at noon. Best of luck, Dayton Track and Field, who will compete in the A10 Outdoor Championships in Fairfax, Virginia on Saturday and Sunday. For more information on Dayton Athletics, visit DaytonFlyers.com. Follow us on social media at Dayton Flyers. The Flyboys step back into conference play this weekend when they welcome in the Richmond Spiders for a 3-game series at Warner Field at AES Ohio Stadium. The action starts on Friday at 3. Game 2 will take place Saturday at 1, and the series finale will happen Sunday at noon. Games this weekend are free and open to the public. Be part of the action and cheer on the Flyboys Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. For more information, visit DaytonFlyers.com and follow us on social media at Dayton Flyers.
Dayton softball is in the hunt for another Atlantic 10 title, and the regular season comes to an end this weekend at home against George Mason. The Flyers and the Patriots play 2 on Saturday, with the first game of the doubleheader starting at noon. Dayton and George Mason finished the series on Sunday at 12. All games at Dayton Softball Stadium are free and open to the public. Be a part of the action this weekend and cheer on Flyers softball. For more information, visit DaytonFlyers.com and follow us on social media at Dayton Flyers.
Congratulations, Ben Kors, who last week made history and won the Atlantic 10 Men's Golf Championship. The senior shot 11 under par over 3 rounds and won by 5 strokes to lead the team to a third-place finish. Kors is just the 3rd Flyer ever to win individual medalists at the A10 Championships, and the first since Henry May in 2021. Best of luck to Ben, who will now compete in the NCAA Regionals May 12th to the 14th. For more information, visit DaytonFlyers.com and follow us on social media at Dayton Flyers. Hot dogs, get your hot dog. $1. Enjoy an American classic this Friday for Dollar Dog Day when Dayton takes on Richmond and Warner Field at AES Ohio Stadium. All hot dogs are just $1. Start your weekend with the Flyers and the Spiders. First pitch at 3 on Friday. The game, free and open to the public. Cheer on the Flyboys and see how many dollar dogs you can eat. For more information, visit DaytonFlyers.com. Follow us on social media at Dayton Flyers.
Our family just blew $600 on a calendar, and it's the best decision we ever made.
Calendar organized.
And today, baseball is the focus. Michael DiMartini is joining us. Mike, thanks a lot.
Yeah, of course.
You are having an incredible start to the season. Kind of in a unique spot because you spent a year at Penn State. You come here to Dayton. Did you expect to be hitting like you're hitting right now?
I'm not going to lie. I knew I was definitely going to have success. I've been given all the tools to do it. So if I didn't, I'd kind of be pretty disappointed in myself. I know that I wasn't really believed in where I was, but I believed in myself. So I didn't expect this magnitude of success, but I definitely knew that some good things were going to happen here.
Well, I know one guy that definitely believed in you, and that being your head coach and
Yeah.
Scott Loazzo, because he was with you at Penn State last year. Was that a big part in sort of making your way here to Dayton?
To be honest, he's probably the only reason I'm here. It was a no-brainer when I found out he took the job here, and I just didn't feel like I could play for anyone else. So when I entered the portal and talked to him, this felt like the spot for me, and there's no one I'd rather play for. So
what separates coach and having that trust and being like I'm going with him?
I mean, he's honest, he's upfront, and he loves baseball, and he really cares about the players. In college baseball, there's not too many coaches that truly care about their players. So for me to be able to experience that, I was able to pick him out as a guy I wanted to be around. So he's someone that I've learned a lot from, and is ultimately someone I try to emulate. There's a lot of good qualities in him.
Talking with Coach, I always find it interesting because his resume, Division II, is wild.
Yeah,
as a head skipper, but then he's got the 1 year associate head coach at Penn State, and you got a front row seat to some historic stuff because Nittany Lion baseball, they get all the way to the Big Ten championship last year. What was it like to be a part of that ride?
Yeah, though I didn't really play much and participate a lot, I did learn a ton. We had a great group of guys, so I learned a lot from the players, and being able to just watch every day and not take that time for granted. I could have easily sat on the bench and just took it as a baseball game like a fan, but instead I tried to learn from the best guys on that team because we had some phenomenal players, and they taught me and they took me under their wing, and it was an experience that was more educational than it was entertaining. So
you finally get to be out on the field. This year you have been killing it. The numbers do not lie. What's been the most exciting part about getting back into the batter's box, being back out on the diamond?
I think it's exactly that, is actually being in the batter's box. Having not played, I cannot take a single at-bat or second for granted. It's just something I'm so grateful for, is to be able to actually play. And because that's all I've really wanted to do, is just given the opportunity. So the most exciting part is actually playing. Like
you light up when you mention the batter's box.
Yeah.
Is that your favorite thing about baseball?
Oh, I love hitting. It's absolutely hands down my favorite part. That and then running. I love running too.
What's your favorite thing about hitting?
Hitting a bomb. I mean, when you hit a bomb, there's no other feeling like that. And ultimately, it's 1 versus 1, and the odds are against the batter, but I like my odds. So, is it almost like chess? I always kind of hear of that battle between pitcher and then batter, and sort of obviously there's the physical element to it, but sort of the mental part of the game. So I actually played chess when I was younger. I do play chess now still with my little brother. And actually, I think the game of baseball is like chess, but I don't think the batter and pitcher aspect is. I think it's more of a free-flowing concept. And when you start to treat it more like just this immersive, like one-on-one experience versus like a strategic thing, that's when you kind of let your preparation kick in. So when you don't try to overthink, you don't try to be too calculated, you think about your plan before you get in the box, and then when you get in the box, it's natural.
You already answered one of my questions, but I'm gonna ask it anyway.
Yeah.
Because you got a lot of power, and,
Okay.
and you already highlighted the thrill of hitting a bomb.
Yeah.
But you got a lot of speed.
Yeah.
And I think the most exciting play in baseball is the triple. and you got quite a few of those. Speed or power?
Power. But the thing about speed is it makes your life a whole lot easier. When you have both, it makes your life way easier. So again, like I had a little at Vanderbilt, had a little dinky hit, you could beat it out, right? If I'm not fast, I might not be able to beat that out. Also, you have power. If you take a bad swing or you're off time, you could still get a good result out of it. So really reducing your margin of error by having the most amount of tools is what's going to make you successful.
Baseball, I don't know if there's necessarily a sport that has more of a kid element to it.
Yeah.
What's your first memory of baseball and when you fell in love with the game?
Ultimately, I could attribute that to all the times me and my dad went out into the local elementary school playground and we took ground balls. He wouldn't let me take ground balls on the field. He'd make me do it on the concrete because they would have bad hops and you get beat up. And I'd hit, he wouldn't even throw behind an L screen. He was crazy. I would hit him in the shins. I'd be like, Dad, are you okay? I'm fine. Get back in the box. So ultimately, even on days I didn't want to do it, he would push me to do it. And I would never regret going out there with my dad. So I can only attribute my love for the game to him and him pushing me and encouraging me, even on times where, I didn't know how much further I'd be playing the game.
So amongst your time here at Dayton, you've already mentioned the thrill of just being able to be out there with the guys. But you guys have had some success here recently. You really feel like you're sort of finding your groove amongst the team and playing now in the league?
Yeah, the thing about our team is we're super young, and a lot of us have never played. We're a little kind of mantra we've taken on is we're the land of the misfit toys. So, or the island of misfit toys. We're all either kickbacks from previous schools, we were counted out, written off. So we haven't really played, but now that we have, we're starting to really show what we can do. And there's not a group of guys I'm more confident in this conference. And I have no doubts that we're going to have success at the end of the year.
Michael, it has been a thrill watching you. That is for sure. And we look forward to what's in store here in the next couple of weeks. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. Thanks.
Welcome back to Day Air Ballpark downtown as the Wright State Raiders and the Dayton Flyers were hoping to play here this evening, but that is not going to be the case here for a Tuesday night. Flyers will be back in action for Dollar Dog Day, as that's going to be Friday in a huge weekend series with the Richmond Spiders. And again, hot dogs at AES Ohio Stadium in Warner Field on Friday will be just $1. 3 o'clock first pitch. Flyers going to be playing game 2 Saturday at 1. They'll close out the series Sunday at noon. For the Raiders, they'll be on the road as Wright State will be taking on Youngstown State for the weekend as they look to continue to cruise in the Horizon League. As Friday's game set for 6 o'clock in Northeast Ohio. Saturday's game, 3 o'clock, and they close out the series Sunday at 1. So unfortunately, what was going to be a fun night of baseball, Mother Nature has gotten in the way as this game has been canceled due to weather as rain continues to fall here in the Water Street District. And lightning, we just saw it about 5 minutes ago. It looks as if that lightning's out of the area, but we're going to see rain for at least the next hour. Both teams coming together and saying we'll pass. This game will not be made up. But for more information on Dayton Flyers baseball, make sure to follow us on social media and online, DaytonFlyers.com. Social media at Dayton Flyers.